going to start Tafresh Tzadik. I did a little bit of, iyun on a subject which I never really did much in-depth thought on. But in my Mishabur at home, I have a note on it. So I looked up the note that I had, and it's perked my interest. So I'm going to share with you something which is a bit fascinating. Did I create a Megillah? Kara Adam is a Megillah ben Under ben Yoshev. You can learn the Megillah either standing or sitting. What about Tithis? What about Yeshiva Sukkah? Should be Yeshiva Sukkah standing? Is there any reason why Megillah we have a halacha about sitting and standing? Where do you daven? All right.
About everyone else's system.
Well, see.
So, no, some people I stand.
Okay. All right. But I'm starting with the question. Is this all mitzvahs we should start off this question? Do we do it them standing or sitting? No. Yeah, I love people who bring riots against themselves. There's a pasuk by the Omer that says that it should be done standing. So what does that say in English? That where it doesn't say, it can be done sitting. It says it by the Omer, it says it by Tzitzis, it says it anytime where it says Ochel Kemesh Omer, and with his own drush. With a drush, you have to do it standing. When there's no drush, why should the mitzvah have to be done standing? Yes. How's that for a political answer?
What is the Torah about the person who's reading? It doesn't say
On your tail. I'm just trying to figure out what you're trying to say. That you understand the people sitting, or you understand the people reading. No, who do you relate to?
Who is Torah referring to?
Okay, we'll discuss that in a minute. But before that, you started off with a given. Well, by Kriya Satira, we have the person who's lighting stands. So therefore what? Finish a sentence.
When someone is doing something for the public, you should.
This doesn't mean that a person who's lighting the Megillah for himself has to stand. What? It does. Okay, we have over here and nothing like Jews. Okay, all right, fine. That's I'm happy. Welcome. Okay, fine. This is This is Tzarech La'ayin, right? So we'll find some interesting things. Okay. Kara Adam as Hamagila Ben Od Ben Yoshev. You can do it however you want. Avlo Yikra B'Tzibur Yoshev L'Chatchila. B'Bnei Kavanat Tzibur. Amayazach. The guy is doing it for the Tzibur. He should do it standing. Why? Nothing to do with the Megillah. But you are serving the tzibur. You should serve the tzibur. You should serve the tzibur in a mechubadik way, which means standing.
The period between the beginning and the first that's the general thing. But if you're going to do the tzibur, you for sure shouldn't do it l'chatchila sitting. You should stand, meaning. The general stance for everybody is that you do it standing, and if you're doing it for the tzibur, you for sure should make sure you're standing.
Okay, just to negate you, We'll read the Mishnah. That takes care of it. Miu habrocha yiborach b'mi. Ouch, that hurts. We'll have to discuss that in a minute. Let's go to the next one. For all those who are perplexed, what's going on? If you're reading Batzibor, tzachlikra b'amida. Rabbi Salamar, so does he answer your question, right? Chaim, does he answer your question? What?
What is the Chaim Gerla?
Well, we'll do that too shortly. That's the thing. That's a different subject. But it's a new halach.
Yeah.
Next says we're right now in proper conduct in the tzibur. Says the Ramah, also the Chazal Mikra Samigila Acham Lekra. It's also to do it. Says the Mishnah the Hitzat tzibur rule the Indian kavod. Vein wala adam machalek kavod la'atzma. For all those who didn't know, to daven for the Amid is a kavod. Okay, and you shouldn't take kavod by yourself. Therefore, it should be offered to you. Because be'enu kavur l'chach. Now, Sheminu l'kach and tzarich lahamtin. Why? Because that's your job. You already were chosen for this purpose. I think I mean the same thing.
We asked
They actually do, because we have a responsibility to make sure the guy's going to show up, right?
Yeah, but not when he's
It
standing.
doesn't mean just before the prayer.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. And not only that, I just want to tell you something. From the bones that I have to pick in halacha in general, there are people who they think they run the world. I don't know if you ever bumped into any of those. So let's say it's Rosh Chodesh. So it's Rosh Chodesh. So who claps Yalav Yavod? There's a guy that's his job. Now, besides the guy that's his job, every other guy, he wants to make sure that he gets the job next. So he does it too, right? Yeah. We have all kinds of people. And this is fine. This is a verb for interest in being Torah for the tzibur. That's wonderful. What about, and I'm going to share with you something. This is not Negea here in Eretz Yisrael, so I haven't had this issue recently. Here in Eretz Yisrael, we do a Birchas Tal and Birchas HaGeshem before Shemona Esrei. For those who remember this place called Chutz La'aretz, in that old country, they do it during Chazar, not during, before, during, get the different minhag in different places, they do it then. And the question arises, what do you say in your quiet Shemona Esrei? Do you recall there's such a discussion? So the Mishnah Berurah discusses that if the Rabbi calls out Mash Baruch Me'erek Hashem, so then everybody has to say it. If he doesn't call it out, then you don't have to say it. What about those Ibn Chochams? How do you say Ibn Chocham in English? Okay, they're not smart Alex. They're what? What? Busybodies. That's they outsmart the system, guys. Right? That's what it means. Like they overly smart. My grandfather, Oruch Shalom, told somebody once if a person was a touch too religious, as a 12-year-old, said that too from is not from. So I was standing there, and the 12-year-old said to my grandfather, "Why not?" Now I was stuck. I didn't know the answer. You know the answer? Okay, you know the answer? So, yeah, that's not.
He answered it.
Yeah, but that's not going to help us at this point. So my grandfather, which was a very bright fellow, he said, I don't know if I know the answer, but you understand that something is from, and you said something is too from, so you already understand it's not the same thing. That's good enough. Just leave it We all understand that there's a point of demarcation that this is on the other side of the fence. You're not supposed to be on the other side of the fence. All right. Anyways, so the guy who's an Avrohom means that he's on the other side of the fence. Okay, that's not. It's not a smart aleck. It's not a wise guy. It's a guy who's out there beating the system to think that he can do it better. Anyways, so the Avrohom guy, when he says Mashav, in my opinion, it has absolutely no value, and you're supposed to say whatever you said before. He is not appointed. He is nothing. He's just talking out of turn. It's not we didn't know what was going on. Everybody knew what's supposed to be happening. It wasn't announced, and it wasn't announced. But it's not so clear. Anyways, in the Yekishul, there are no such people. They have a thing by the front door, they come down for ammunition. In the Yekishul, any guys like that, they get bounced before they get in the door.
But what's the reason that you have to have the announcement to notice?
Because it has to be the thought. Now, if you said it, it works. But the question is, the guy who didn't say it, you have to go back. That's the question. Okay. Now we're going to see the first. In this shul, there has been a evolution on Tisha B'Av. The Mishabura made a statement, a bit of a meek statement. Why should a bracha be done b'amida? So the truth of the matter is that there's a Pri Megadim in Hilchos Pesach that says the bracha should always be done how the mitzvah is done. So if the mitzvah can be done via Yeshiva, so how do you make a bracha on Achilas Matzah? Why do you do it standing up? So why by the Megillah can you concentrate better? So there's a discussion on this issue, and there are those who say that it should be done, some it shouldn't be done. I brought over here Chaim. I don't want to really get too involved in it, but let's see what the Shart here. I'm a machzah shekel. The gam hashoymim habrocha kivan the yitzin ayidei shmiya mishum the shomea ka'oineh tzrichim gam kein lamod. So this shul on Tisha B'Av, the bracha on Echa is said standing, and I stand during that bracha. I never said that people should stand. But I've noticed over the years that this grassroots movement has spread, which is fine. There's actually machlokes on this issue, if this has to be or not. Maybe we'll just read. Chaim has on this big machlokes, and kol shekei by Echa. It's not so clear that's what should be done. There are a variety of opinions on this. I'm just reading it right now because I don't want it to go into history that I never noticed what's going on. Okay. V'hashamea havi ka'oino kilu mevarach l'cheid tzarach hashamea lamoid k'va mevarach. Agav, even in all Shomei Ka'onos, there is about I think 6 different steers in the Mishnah Berurah, where each time it brings machlokes Rishonim, where the Shomei and the Oin have the same din or not. Such as one of the fascinating halachas is a person who has to go to the bathroom is not allowed to daven. What about if you're being yet to Shomei Ka'onos? So there's machlokes Rishonim if the halacha applies. Machlokes Rishonim if you have to bend by Baruch Atah Hashem by Shomei Ka'onos. No, it's how the same are you? Okay, so all right, etc. Okay, Ben Ishchai, Omnom, Nesa Gedoyla, brings the Mara Niska V'Koso Danachnu Lo Noagin Kei. Chekos of Sefer Tilo David, Chekos of Sefer Arva Simcha, Chekos of all these places, if you live, with the Sefer Pikabola, Shem Hogom, Shem Mevorach, Hu Hashat, Mevorach, Mekoris HaMegillah, Hakol Ba'amida, Aval HaKahal, Lo Inagu Lamor, Afilu B'Shas HaBrocha. That's not the meaning. V'cheinu minig beiskel, v'chein oimdim alcohol, afilu, she'enon alcohol, afilu b'shas habrocha. There is a great machlokes on this issue. I'm just saying that I never said anything over here, and I'm not planning on it either. But the subject is the subject. Now I'd like to discuss
Sephardi descent.
it's not only Sephardi descent, there's some Ashkenazim also on this issue. All right. Sharitzian. Now we're going to see something which is a fascinating thing. This is what I said I'd like to explore a little bit. Smicha means leaning. No pun intended. You're allowed to rely on this opinion and lean. Yeah. Also, by Kriyas HaTorah, even though by Kriyas HaTorah it has to be B'amida. Okay. Do it b'smicha. Now, I'd like to share with you something which is fascinating. I had once a situation here in this shul many, many years ago. The Kadosh Baruch Hu was marachim on me. And I had somebody who had a relative from Chutz La'aretz that was a chazan and retired. And this chazan who retired became handicapped. And the yard site was when the fellow was going to be here. And his relative asked if he could daven for the Amid from the wheelchair. That's a big yeved to daven sitting down. And it's a pagam, so to speak, on the tzibur that you got yourself a guy who can't do it like you're supposed to. And on the other hand, you have a guy that's in a wheelchair, you don't kick him in the face either. So what do? So I did what I did always when I have these difficult times. I called my father, I asked him, what do I do now? So my father said to me, very simple. You can't let him down to the Oruch. So I said, why not? He said, it's not for Shalach and Shalach. If he's not Marutz L'Kohol, then he's only down to the Oruch. And people will take offense. They'll find it difficult. So you're not allowed to let him down.
There were people who were offended by that.
Yeah. And so but actually, even without that, so I said, so how am I going to figure it out? What am I going to do? So he says, you'll figure it out. So Kadosh Baruch Hu had less respect for me than my father. And something happened that the fellow had to leave right before his yard site. So I didn't have to figure it out. I didn't have to worry about it. Okay? But after that, I had a situation where somebody was at yard site and they were a very fat fellow and they weren't able to do it without leaning on the vila. This is this question over here. What is it? Maybe we'll see. This question over here, but I'll tell you. You should read only Ba'amida. Why? Not because of the reason for the minute. But if this is what Klal Yisrael does, then this is what you should do. Because Makom Dayeno and Nachmer Bazeh the Yeshiva Mamish. V'loi b'smicha. This is called dancing around an issue. There's a shaila in the Gemara if smicha is ki yeshiva or smicha is kamida. So let's answer that question, and then we'll know is this Amida, or is this yeshiva? And what is the question? Is smichas kamida or smichas yeshiva? Okay, this is the subject which I did a little bit of research on in preparation for this year. And there are stiras in the Mishnah Berurah, in the Machaber. Sometimes it says smicha yeshiva, sometimes it says smicha kamida, and we have to make some kind of a mahalach and understanding what's going on. First, I'd like to share with you a thought, which is whenever I have these kind of questions, there's a Rogachover that comes to my mind. It's fascinating Rogachover, and I believe that part of it is relevant over here. There's a thing called Ben Hashmoshes. I'm not sure I know what that is exactly. But sometimes Shulchan Aruch says Ben Hashmoshes says that are young, sometimes it's Ben Leplayla, and sometimes it says that it's good because of that, and sometimes it's no good because of that. No mahalach. Mom's like Ben Hashmoshes. It's a mixed up situation. And the Rogachover has one Yisoid, and with Yisoid, everything falls into place. Absolutely fascinating. He says that Ben Hashmoshes has an aspect of Yoim and the aspect of Laila. Sometimes the Torah says you have to do something for Yoim. And some of the Torah says you can't do it for Laila. Did I just say the same thing? You have to do it by day and not night. Right? Now, where's the nafkamina and Ben Hashmoshes? If it has to be done by day, there's an aspect of day, so that's good enough. If it can't be done by night, there's an aspect of night, and you can't do it Ben Hashmoshes. So in order to have the same halacha, it has to be done by day, and depending on how the halacha was delivered to us, will make a difference. The Gabi, what Ben Hashmoshes, we see Ben Hashmoshes as including in the day or excluded from the day. And the same could be true in the night. Sometimes it depends exactly on how the idea was done originally. What is the reason that smicha is aser or mutter? Here we have a Ben Hashmoshes kind of a thing, smicha. Right? Smicha is, are you standing? You think so? You think so? But I want you to know something. He's not so sure because he thinks so. Right? What? Right. So there's a question of what's called smichas. Anything which is called that if you pull away the thing from underneath you, you would not fall. So that's called standing. Now there's a question. How leaning do you have to be leaning in order for leaning to be called not standing? That's it. What? Okay, all right. Anyways, but this is a question. Now, according to some, the reason why Kriyas HaTorah has to be done by Amida, and here the Ramah is Chaim. The Ramah says that when the Sefer Torah is being moved, you're not allowed to sit down. And the reason why, according to some, is that's covered the Sefer Torah, and sitting is a kalas rosh. Sometimes the subject stand at attention. Could you sit at attention? Not really. Right? No, there's a stance of attention. Torah was given ba'amida. Ata amod imodi po. And from there we learned that Kriyas Torah has to be done ba'amida. And the halacha is, if one learns, halacha Shulchan Aruch, where you learn, you're supposed to learn standing only. What will come with Torah? Because they started learning yeshiva. The Torah is supposed to be done only standing, not sitting. Why? Because that's what it was given. That is according to many poskim, a covet issue. That's not a mahuti issue. It's not an essence issue. No, it's you have to be standing in the proper way. It's not because the mitzvah has to be done in a certain way. It's you're lacking in your covet. It's not a din in the mitzvah. It's not a din in the mitzvah. Okay, so but that's not a chelik. No, it's 1 second. I would like to make a difference. Standing by Shemona Esrei, there it could be a din of Shemona Esrei because you have to be mispalo like a oimid l'fnei hamelech. Even though it's also a covenant aspect, but the mitzvah of tefillah demands a certain stance. The mitzvah of limud Torah, that's because it was given in a certain way and should be done not slouchy. But service, you give service standing. Choser ba'ayon of tefillah. In other words, not always, even if it's going to be for a covenant reason, it's not going to be for the same halacha. So, anyways, I just thought this is the cool.
The Altaviras wouldn't let us sit like this. They said if your head is leaning, you're not using your head.
That's right. Not only that, the Anshe and the Mekubalim say that this hole is the Shar Hashena. This automatically brings a person to sleep. This is Apikabala, yeah. Anyways, I have no idea.
All the pictures are on that picture.
This and this is not the same thing. This is a person is thinking. This is a proactive.
So these guys
No, that's talking about people. This is a guy. It's sometimes person's thinking. This is a. That's what he does. But that is a different.
side of it.
It's a different thing. Okay, at least you'll notice that people. It's not the same. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. Anyways, no mishane. I'm not. I'll just quote my Rashiva. I heard him say to somebody once. Somebody that is choshud that if you be learning Kabbalah, you could do this. Should never open a sefer Kabbalah. Shouldn't learn Kabbalah at all. Kabbalah demands a higher level of Evangelira. All right. It doesn't look like he's learning. It's not a picture of learning.
So if he's learning,
No, but there were pictures of the
There maybe, but anyways, I really don't know. I'm not a follower, but okay, fine. Anyways, I'm gonna leave this to Kuda. I would just say I went through some of the different Makairas situations in Shulchan Aruch, and it seems that depending on what the reason why you have to be Ba'amida seems to follow whether Shulchan Aruch calls it Amida or Yeshiva. And one of them is Hilchos Dayanis, who says that the Bali Dinim have to be standing to the discussion. What about if they're leaning? There it says as din of standing, and other places it says it has a din like you're sitting. There's a whole bunch of different places, and I believe that the answer will pan out depending on what the nature of the thing is. So, why is this all Nakeya?
they have pictures of the learning, and it's exactly what the Rav says. It's in the middle of his forehead. Where the Gemara opens from.
That's a different. Okay.
Not so much of
So I'm Eiskal. Well, imagine 10 years ago, I would have got away with it much easier. anyways, so now I would like to go to here. What should the issue of doing it by me, the yeshiva, be over here? Okay, that's what it seems to be going. And therefore, he says over here, Father, you can rely on smicha, that's good enough. Because here the issue isn't really such an issue. And he doesn't get involved in this issue. Right, they're not over here. We're not laying the Megillah. This is important. You saw it. This is very important. You're laying the Megillah not as the Torah. You're doing it because you're saying over a story, right? Why are all these white faces?
This is true.
What? Yeah, no, I understand, but the purpose of reading is not to be Makai Mitzvah Talmud Torah Al Yedei Mikra Megillah. This is not Hilchos Talmud. No, if the halacha would be that Torah has to be done ba'amida, would that include Megillah? No. We're aware of that. We're aware of that. There's two things that you're using it for a different purpose. I question. I don't really know the answer to the question, but I could look it up. I don't think it's a double pasha that even though what would be the halacha? Can a balkoira that is an ogo lame in the Megillah?
Because no one else
Is also with Talmud Torah.
Oh, shit.
That's called an ogo. Whatever. I don't know. No, it's just like Kriya Shema. You could say Kriya Shema without Berachos Torah, right? Could you say we go without Berachos Torah? I wouldn't be surprised if you can. I know about checking it out, but you're not doing it for Kriya. You're not doing it for Talmud Torah. How do I know? What's the Talmud Torah?
That was the backdrop of his explanation. Like tomorrow, that said that Rabbi closes the thing. So what do you mean about the Talmud?
No, but I'm saying that's a different. I'm saying over here that this is you're not doing it for that. Just like you're allowed to say the Parshas HaTamid on Tisha B'Av. Not everything that's Torah is included in all halachas of Torah. A person can say the Parshas HaTamid for brachas of Torah. It's called tefillah. It's not called believing. They're twice bought in Beis Yosef. All right. Anyways,
Even after we left the shtetl.
left the shtetl. Never left the shtetl. Still there. Yes. Okay. Anyways, let's carry on. Okay. Afilu shnayim, afilu asar yechol b'Christ b'yachad v'yetzim hem v'ashayim mehem. Now this is a fascinating halacha because this halacha is difficult to persuade somebody that it's true. The halacha is that since people are happy, excited about, could you tell me what I'm happy about?
Yeah, I know what you're happy about. It's the mitzvah that comes in the mitzvah. It's not the mitzvah, but why does it make you hear more?
even if it was that, there's still about 10 people.
I can't hear two people at the same time, or I could hear two people at the same time. What's the happiness of doing
Change.
I want to tell you something. I'm going to start with something very simple. All of the people here have been in a base medrash. Somebody who was never in a base medrash, you bring them into base medrash, and it's like it's like they have no ability to grasp what's going on. How can anybody think in here? How can you hear anything in here? Why? Theoretically, he's chaviva.
You get used to this. I know with someone sometimes he struggles with someone behind the student too and he can't concentrate. But you get used to it, but the once a year you hear the first Megillah.
No. First, let's talk about this concept. We all have the ability to filter out. You can go to a chasana, and there could be a lot of noise. Some people call it music, and you can hear what the guy you're speaking to is saying, right? Yeah, but we all have this ability to filter things out. Okay, now when we don't have interest, then we say it's too noisy. It takes more brain power to filter things out. But there is a halacha, and the reason why I call this halacha fascinating, because Chazal tells us here we accept when you say that you could do it. Somewhere else, where it's not chaviv alei, Chazal say we don't believe you that you did it.
But I also remember reading the risk they hold can't be say the Megillah if you're reading along with the Baruch.
Let's say they hold that. What does that do? Anything?
No, it's two people reading. You're reading the beast reading.
What? That's they're saying you're not being Yetzer, the Megillah B'tzibur. They're not saying you're not being Yetzer. They're discussing a different Nakuda. But their subject is if we have 10 people over here reading the Megillah at the same time, do we have Pesumei Nisa? That's the Brisker question. Okay.
Before you need 10.
What?
If somebody's going to read, you need all 10 to read together. Or either one or
they're
all
not
10.
read together. They could be in different places. We're all reading the Megillah at the same time. So Sachakol, we have 10 people being a person, they say Megillah at once. I lack.
We can just 10 people doing it at the same time. That's enough.
You just said no, it's Zoom. That's not what I said. You have 10 people together and they're reading it at the same time. You have 10 people on Zoom when it starts for a million? That's what you want to know?
No, that's what I was hinting at.
Well, what are you hinting at?
Sounds like.
Can I ask you a question? Did you daven today with a million? What do I ask you?
Obviously.
I don't think so. I don't think so. You done by yourself. What have you done with a million? There are 10 people in here. In 4 minutes, there's going to be 20 people, I don't know, whatever, over here, each one davening by themselves. Where's the minion? Where's the minion? Okay, so the 10 people say we go at once is also something needs it. Now, why is it that you think that you don't see it? I don't know what you thinking. And a lot of things for a long time. But
We started together.
what?
We started together.
That's good enough.
But then he
So Yaakov Fisher told me you have to start together and end together. They do it according to everyone. Some say you have to finish first 3 brachas together.
the ones who blow shofar,
They do not.
they do the brachas. They should together.
They do not. You haven't davened to Joshua. The guys there with Svarim reading and doing all kinds of things, waiting. They have an amount of time that goes to it's parceled out. So they're not to do it. What?
People still here.
Okay, not when I was
That's a
here.
good idea.
Yeah, not when I was here. But actually, that's fine. I'm not, I just say this is a question which, according to some places, can say that Yitzchak are shots. That's too. But you can't be your private. That's not where's the too. Anyways, all right. Let's continue. Let's go into the. Okay, this is halach. Fine. Next. Now, I would like to mention something over here, which is very important. There are people who buy Megillas. Now, there are fads. Many of the fads are problematic. And I'll just share with you. I don't know. I didn't say anything yet. Fads are not from. The people who want a Melech Megillas. Why do they want a Melech Megillas? Maybe there's such a thing. People use 11 Shur Megillas. Why do they use 11 Shur Megillas? I said it's B'nei. Now, I was once in a shul that the Megillah that was used was a Megillah that was a Shar of its kosher. Because the the spacing in order to make that Seres B'nei Haman, there's a halachic criteria on how it should be done. And sometimes the Sefrim don't do it according to all shittas. And there's question we should buy such a Megillah. Sometimes it's kosher, sometimes it's not kosher. I'd like to get involved in that. I just will share with you. My father Zachariash told me I bought for him a Megillah once. My father Zachariash was a Balkaira. So he said, I want a Megillah Membe Shuas. It's like a Sefer Torah. So I said, you don't want 11 Shuas? He says, no, I don't want 11 Shuas. Now he owned the 11 Shur Megillah. He said, 11 Shur Megillah is very difficult if you're a Balkaira. It's not practical. So I said, what about the 22 one, this 21 one, 22, this other one? So he says, he told me, either 11 shuras, like the Megillah, or like the Sefer Torah. Don't make your own mahalach. It's a fascinating idea, which, well, the reason why I'm saying this over is a person hears the Megillah from someone just because he has a scroll that was written by a scribe doesn't necessarily mean that it's kosher. And you should be aware of that. Here it says, even a person, it's called Baal Peh if the Megillah is possible. So Baal Peh does not mean a person saying it by heart. Baal Peh means that he said it from a read it from a non-kosher Megillah. So this is something which, unfortunately, there are many of these that are B'diavad Megillahs that are out there. One should be aware of that. Okay.
Next week is this year. The following week
What's
is-
next week? Of course.
Well, the
Okay.
following week is focus case.
Okay. Fine.
Go ahead.
At the moment, because I start turning off, and then it takes off my phone.
Hey, nice to see you all.
Yeah, Shukayach.
And all these people.
Nice to see the Rabbi.
Okay. Nice to see you too.